Anglo American rejects Xstrata's merger proposal. It said the terms of the deal were totally unacceptable and the combination was unattractive for Anglo shareholders. Xstrata said it was disappointed and surprised by Anglo's rejection. Xstrata had said earlier the merger would create substantial cost savings and allow them to compete with their biggest rival, BHP Billiton. Shares of Xstrata plunged more than 10% overnight in the U.S. Anglo shares gained around 2%. Now, let's talk more on commodities and more on that Xstrata deal. Claire Liao joins me for the latest. Claire, is it really over?
Well, I would say that a company like Xstrata is not going to step away that easily. So we're going to see a more aggressive move, perhaps, and even a direct approach to the shareholders. And I think Xstrata and investors were also surprised at how quickly Anglo American came back. Now, you talk about the sell-off, you talked about the sell-off in the stock markets as well. It looks like we're going to be entering another challenging environment. And I think a challenging environment might actually be in Xstrata's favor if it can continue to pressure Anglo American into talks. So we don't know. I don't think this is over by a long shot.
But Anglo American has come out to say the terms were unacceptable, unattractive. What can Xstrata do?
Well, I guess that's the point, isn't it? By the very fact that it came out and said the terms were not acceptable, it would seem to invite, a better approach, a better price perhaps, and better terms. It's not entirely clear. And even if it's not Xstrata, it would seem that Vale, the world's largest iron ore producer, might now be back in play again. Now, Vale has deep pockets, has big ambitions, so perhaps we're going to see some kind of bidding war. It's not clear at the moment.
The M&A theme, do you expect that to continue?
Well, it's kind of interesting because if you look at the credit markets and so forth, things are still not as fluid as governments and banks would like it to be. So perhaps if some of these companies were under more funding pressure, for example, or had ambitions to expand during this downturn in commodities, yes, I think we might see a bit more interest in M&A activity from the companies, but also from the shareholders' point of view. I think they might be expecting the companies, the management, to be more aggressive.
Okay, I want to stick with that commodities theme. I mean, China's restocking seems to have slowed somewhat in the summer. What does it mean for commodities?
Well, I guess that's the interesting part because, everyone had been saying the last a few weeks of rally that a lot of it, has been driven by China. Now, as we go into the summer season and things begin to slow down, unless there's someone else picking up the slack in demand, we're going to see a huge amount of supply. Yesterday, China just announced that it's lifting export taxes on certain grains and so forth. Now, what that's going to mean is that, it might be increasing the exports of wheat, rice, soybeans, fertilizers, at a time when demand is traditionally weak in the summer. So we might see a bit of pressure, selling pressure on commodities.
Interesting times. Claire Liao, thank you so much for that.